GTX 200 series, GTX 280 and GTX 260 launched in 2008, and these were NVIDIA's first cards to use the GTX naming scheme. Before this, they had the GeForce 8 and 9 series. The GTX 280 had 1 GB of video memory and could finally run Crysis on high settings without your PC catching fire. It cost $650 at launch, which was expensive, but it was the most powerful gaming card you could buy. The GTX 260 was the budget option at $400, and it offered like 70% of the performance for way less money, making it super popular with gamers who wanted good performance without breaking the bank. GTX 400 series. The GTX 480 and GTX 470 came out in 2010, and honestly these cards were a disaster. The GTX 480 ran insanely hot, like 95 degrees Celsius under load, and it consumed 250 watts of power. The GTX 470 was slightly cooler and cheaper, but it still had the same heat issues. NVIDIA learned their lesson after this generation and focused way more on power efficiency. GTX 500 series. Just 8 months after the GTX 400 series disaster, NVIDIA released the GTX 500 series to fix all the problems. The GTX 580, GTX 570, and GTX 560 Ti were basically the same architecture but way more refined. The GTX 580 only reached 85 degrees instead of 95, consumed less power, and was faster. This is when NVIDIA really started to dominate because AMD's cards at the time couldn't compete. The GTX 560 Ti became legendary in the budget segment because it cost only $250, but could play every game at 1080p settings. People were building gaming PCs with this card for years. GTX 600 series. The GTX 680, GTX 670, and GTX 660 launched in 2012 with NVIDIA's new Kepler architecture, and this was a massive leap in power efficiency. The GTX 680 only consumed 195 watts, but performed better than the GTX 580, which consumed 244 watts. The GTX 660 became the most popular card of this generation because it was cheap at $230 and could handle games like Battlefield 3 and Skyrim at high settings with smooth frame rates. GTX 700 series. The GTX 780, GTX 770, and GTX 760 came out in 2013, and honestly this generation wasn't a huge upgrade. The GTX 780 was basically a slightly better GTX 680. It could handle 1440 gaming really well, which was becoming more popular with gamers upgrading to higher resolution monitors. But the real star of this generation was the GTX 780 Ti, which came out later in 2013 to compete with AMD's R9 290X. The GTX 780 Ti was a beast, and it dominated the high-end market until the GTX 900 series arrived. The GTX 760 was another budget king, offering great 1080p performance for only $250. GTX 900 series. The GTX 980, GTX 970, and GTX 960 launched in 2014 with the Maxwell architecture, and this generation was absolutely incredible. The GTX 970 became one of the most popular graphics cards of all time because it cost only $330, but delivered performance close to the GTX 780 Ti, which cost $700. The GTX 980 was the high-end option, and it was the first card that could comfortably max out games at 1440. Oh yeah, the GTX 900 series also introduced better power efficiency again, with the GTX 980 only consuming 165 watts while being faster than previous generation cards that used 250 watts. GTX 1000 series. The GTX 1080, GTX 1070, and GTX 1060 launched in 2016, and this is when NVIDIA absolutely destroyed AMD. The GTX 1080 was a 4K gaming beast. The GTX 1070 dominated 1440p, and the GTX 1060 became the king of 1080p gaming. But the legendary card of this generation was the GTX 1080 Ti, which came out in 2017. This card had 11 GB of VRAM and was so powerful that people are still using it in 2026. It can still play modern games at 1080p settings with playable frame rates, which is absolutely insane for a graphics card. The GTX 1080 Ti only cost $700 at launch, and people consider it the best value flagship card NVIDIA has ever made. GTX 1600 series. The GTX 1660 Ti, GTX 1660 Super, and GTX 1650 came out in 2019, and this was kind of a weird generation because NVIDIA had already released the RTX 20 series in 2018. The GTX 1660 Ti and GTX 1660 were perfect for 1080p gaming at high settings, and they cost around $230 to $280, making them super popular with budget gamers. The GTX 1650 was the entry-level card at $150, and while it wasn't as powerful, it could still play esports games like Fortnite, Valorant, and CS::GO at high frame rates. Why GTX ended? So after the GTX 1600 series, NVIDIA completely stopped making GTX cards and went all in on RTX. The reason is because ray tracing and AI features like DLSS became way more important. Every new game started supporting ray tracing, and DLSS became essential for getting good performance in demanding games. The RTX branding also made NVIDIA's cards feel more premium and futuristic compared to AMD's Radeon cards. But a lot of people missed the GTX era because those cards were focused purely on rasterization performance without any gimmicks, and they offered incredible value. The GTX 1080 Ti, GTX 1060, and GTX 970 are still remembered as some of the best graphics cards ever made because of their price-to-performance ratio.